My shift started like any other. 5 in the morning, hair tied up, apron on, grinding beans and faking cheer at Rise and Grind Cafe. The smell of espresso filled the air as regulars shuffled in with sleepy eyes and mumbled orders. By 6:30, the rush was in full swing. I was scribbling Jake on a caramel macchiato when the bell above the door jingled and an older man stepped inside. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. Grey coat, gentle eyes, and a baseball cap with a faded coffee stain on the brim. He moved slowly, like each step cost him effort. He didn't order right away, just stood in line, scanning the chalkboard menu like it was in another language. When it was finally his turn, he leaned forward and whispered, "Just a small black coffee, please." "Of course," I said, smiling. "On the house today." He blinked, confused. "Why?" I shrugged. "Because it's cold outside, and kindness doesn't cost much." He smiled faintly. "That's rare these days." Before I could reply, a sharp voice cut through the noise behind him. "Oh, for God's sake, can we move this along?" A man in a tailored suit pushed past him, nearly knocking the old man's cane from his hand. "Hey," I said, stepping in. "There's a line. He was here first." The suit scoffed. "I've got a meeting in 10 minutes, sweetheart. I don't have time for charity cases." My blood boiled. "Then maybe you should try another cafe?" His jaw dropped. "Excuse me?" "You heard me." The cafe went quiet. All eyes on us. The suited man glared at me, then turned to the old man. "Must be nice to get pity perks," he muttered. The old man didn't respond, just stepped aside silently, but I saw his hands tremble. The suited guy stormed out without ordering. I poured the coffee and handed it to the old man. "Sorry about that?" He nodded slowly, studying me with an unreadable expression. "You stood up for me," I shrugged. "It's what anyone decent would do." He took a sip. "You'd be surprised." He left without another word. I didn't even get his name. 2 days passed. I'd almost forgotten the incident, until he came back. Same coat, same hat. But this time he walked with purpose. It was the end of my shift when he returned, waiting until the line thinned. He stood at the counter, sipping the same plain black coffee I'd offered before. "You're closing soon, right?" he asked. I glanced at the clock. 15 minutes, he nodded. "Then I'll wait." Something about the way he said it made my stomach flip. Not in a bad way, in a mysterious way. I served the last few customers, cleaned the machines, and started closing out the register. When I turned around, he was still there, sitting by the window. I approached. "Can I help you?" He smiled. "You already did." He reached into his coat and pulled out a folder. I frowned. "What's that?" "A proposal." My laugh was awkward. "I'm just a barista." He opened it. Inside were documents, official ones. At the top of the first page was a name I'd seen before. Harold W. Langston, founder and chairman, Langston Coffee Group. I blinked. "Wait, what?" He tapped the folder. "I started this chain 28 years ago, sold half of it, kept the rest. Every now and then I visit one of the cafes incognito. See how things are running." I couldn't speak. He continued. "Usually, no one notices me. They treat me like I'm invisible. But you?" "You stood up." I sat across from him, stunned. "Why didn't you say something?" He smiled. "Because I wanted to see how people behave when they think no one's watching." I swallowed. "And?" He leaned in slightly. "I want you to run this location." My brain stalled. I'm sorry." "Manager. Full salary. Benefits. Bonus for training staff. You've got instincts people can't be taught." "But I've never managed anything," I said quickly. "I barely make rent." "You've got heart, and that's what this place has been missing." The next week was a blur. Contracts, meetings, a whirlwind of paperwork and training. Harold, as he insisted I call him, came in every morning for coffee and stayed in the back office most afternoons. He introduced me to people in suits, regional reps, even a few board members. One of them was the same man who had insulted him the week before. His name was Tyler Crane, Regional Director. When he saw me next to Harold, his face went pale. Harold didn't say a word, just watched Tyler shift uncomfortably while I explained my vision for the cafe. More local partnerships, fair scheduling, better wages for staff. The room went quiet. Then Harold turned to Tyler. "You remember her, don't you?" Tyler stammered. I didn't realise. "That I was the man in line," Harold said softly. "That she was the one who did what none of your polished managers have ever done." "I apologise," Tyler said quickly. "It was out of line." Harold didn't respond, just looked at me. "Well?" he said. I glanced between them, heart pounding. "We're not looking for perfection, just respect." Harold smiled. "Exactly." That night, I walked home with the keys to the cafe in my coat pocket, but just when I thought the whirlwind had passed, my phone buzzed with an anonymous message. "You think you've won something, but you have no idea who you're dealing with. Watch your back." I froze. This wasn't over. Not even close. The anonymous message kept replaying in my mind as I lay in bed that night, the phone still glowing on the nightstand. "You think you've won something, but you have no idea who you're dealing with." I didn't sleep. I tossed. I turned. I checked the locks on my door twice. Part of me wanted to believe it was just a bluff, a bitter insult from a bruised ego. But something told me it wasn't just idle words. The next morning, Harold was already in the cafe by the time I arrived. He looked up from his coffee and smiled, but his smile faltered when he saw my face. "You all right?" he asked. I hesitated, then slid my phone across the table, screen up. He read the message. His jaw tightened. "Tyler," he muttered under his breath. "I warned him." "Are you sure it was him?" I asked. "Couldn't it be a prank?" "No," Harold said quietly. "That's his style. Passive threats, undermining, not confrontation. But don't worry, I'll handle it." I believed him. I wanted to believe him. But when I stepped into the office that afternoon, I found the schedule tampered with. My name had been removed. Emails had been deleted. Vendor orders reversed. Someone was sabotaging me. I took a screenshot of everything and marched to Harold. He listened, said all the right things, promised to make calls. But that night, another message came. "He won't protect you forever." I didn't know who he was anymore, because the next day, Harold didn't show up. The cafe felt different without Harold. Customers asked for him. Staff whispered. Even the regulars noticed the tension in the air. I called, texted, no response. On the third day, I marched back into the office determined to find something, anything that could explain what was happening. I remembered the folder Harold had shown me on his first visit, the company seal, the signature. But the filing cabinet where he'd kept it, empty, not just cleared out, wiped. Then I noticed something odd about the drawers, a slight uneven gap in the back. I reached inside and tugged gently. Click. A hidden panel. Behind it was a thin manila folder. One document inside. A contract, dated over a decade ago, between Harold W. Langston and Tyler Crane. It outlined the conditional sale of majority control of several cafe locations, including ours, pending performance metrics. Tyler was supposed to oversee growth, but in small handwritten notes I saw the truth. Fraudulent numbers, cooked books, falsified reports. Harold had known, and he'd been gathering evidence to take Tyler down. The door opened behind me. I turned. It was Tyler. "Well," Tyler said smoothly, stepping inside and closing the door behind him. "Curiosity is such a dangerous trait in people who don't know how to mind their business." I tucked the folder behind my back, keeping my expression neutral. "What do you want?" I asked. He smiled. "To remind you of your place." I forced a laugh. "Pretty bold for someone caught cooking the books." His eyes darkened. "That folder won't save you. Do you think Langston didn't try this before? He's old, sentimental. But he doesn't have the strength to finish the fight." "Where is he?" I asked. "What did you do?" "He's fine," Tyler said too quickly, "but I'd be careful pushing your luck. It'd be a shame if something happened to your cafe. Or your name. I didn't respond. He stepped closer. Hand over the folder, and we both walk away clean. I didn't move. You don't scare me, I whispered. He grinned. You should be. And then, another voice filled the room. Neither of you are going anywhere. It was Harold. He stood in the doorway, cane in one hand, phone in the other, already recording. I told you, he said calmly to Tyler. I warned you once. Security stormed in moments later. Tyler didn't even try to run. Harold looked at me, eyes tired but clear. You held your ground, I nodded. Barely. You were stronger than I ever expected, he said. And now, it's your turn to lead. My voice shook. Are you stepping down? He nodded. It's time. And just like that, the cafe wasn't just a job anymore, it was a legacy.